and welcome back to SOS Stories of Survivors. I'm your host, Serina Dansker, and today I'm so excited because we have the Self Love Club Next Generation here. We have Lexi Dansker, Chloe Gleeson, and Mikayla Gleeson. Thank you so much for joining. And today we're going to have a real conversation about investing, debt, and not being broke by the age of 40. Mm-hmm. And so today we're going to talk about money, not as pressure, but not as perfection, but as safety, choice, and self-trust. So let's talk about this. Not in a scary dad with a spreadsheet way, but more about the girl who wants freedom, right? Freedom to leave a bad job, freedom to leave a relationship, freedom to take a break if you want. And how about freedom to build something that means something to you? And here's the truth, guys. Investing isn't about being rich. It's about building something, having options, and the awareness of where your money is and what you're doing with it. Money comes in all forms. It could be allowances, gifts, jobs, your side hustle, but it goes out. Rent, hair, nails, food, and fun. So the idea is to have awareness, know where your money is going, and so you can keep control of it, because control of your money is so important. So let's talk about this. When you hear the word investing, what comes to mind?
Think of like just buying a part of a company.
That's really good. Really good. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think of, growing interest and stuff. Like,
Ooh.
kind of.
That's really good too. Yeah.
And I think of the stock market just in general.
Yes, and all of you are right. And investing is really just putting your money somewhere that can grow instead of just sitting in your checking account. So saving money, that is protection. Investing money, that's growing your money. Spending money is living. Most of us are just taught one, but you need all three, and you need to understand how they balance each other. So let's just talk a little bit about needs versus wants. So we're not cutting back on our Starbucks or anything like that when we talk about budgeting, but when you're going to spend money, you have to ask yourself the question, is this helping future me, or is this something that's soothing present me? So for example, needs are rent, transportation,
Food.
groceries, exactly, insurance, your cell phones, okay? Those are all your needs. Wants, fashion, every week, Shein, those 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. Amazon or Shein like scrolls, upgrading your phone yearly. Those are wants. Then you have to say to yourself, if you tracked your spending for 30 days, just 1 month, what do you think would surprise you the most about where your money goes?
I feel like it wouldn't surprise me, but I definitely spend the most of my money at the school vending machine.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really think anything would surprise me that much, partially because I only have cash right now, so it's like it's very
Like you know
materialistic, so it's like I know where it's going when I'm giving it to someone for food or for
But see, by
clothes.
cash, you're not able to track cash.
Yeah, so I usually let my mom deal with it, but I'm in the process of getting a bank card right now. So.
All right.
As someone who's 21, I think a lot of my money does end up going towards bars, Ubers, outfits, and clothes, and I do find myself buying things.
Like having fun.
Well, right, but I do find myself buying things late at night, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I don't need this. Why did I buy this? So.
That's the thing, and that's good. So there's a good trick for that. That someone told me a long time ago. When you're doing impulse buying, put it in your cart, and then go to sleep. And then in the morning, if you really still want it, then you hit the buy button. And it does help. I don't always do that, but sometimes that does help. But a good rule of thumb for budgeting, okay, is let's say your paycheck, I'm going to make up a number, is $1,000, okay, for the month. 50% of it should go to your needs. So let's say, $500 would go to your food, your rent, your groceries, your insurance. 30% should go to your wants, your hair, your nails, your fashion purchases. 20% should be saved. Even if it was $5, the more you save, the more you're going to have a cushion later on. And we'll talk more about that. Budgeting isn't about restricting your spending. It's more about knowing where your money is going, having awareness. So if I have $1,000, $500 is going towards my bills, 30% is going towards my fun, and the other 20% I'm saving for future me. Because future you needs love too, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about something real to maybe put it in more concrete terms. Let's talk about your first apartment, maybe, or your first dorm room, or where you're going to furnish. Maybe you need a bed, a desk, maybe a couch, a rug, fridge, right?
Vending machine.
So there's needs, the fridge, and the wants, the vending machine. So, you know, but also other wants. You might want some trendy decor or some fancy pillows or, you know, upgrades. So you have to decide. Your needs help you rest and function when you're at school or at your new apartment. Your wants help you decorate and bring joy. So you do need both. But let's take it a step further. Let's talk about how much all of this costs. So let's say you're going to decorate with a bed, a couch, a table, and a few extra upgrades to bring the joy in. Maybe that's $2,000, okay? So here's the question. Do you put it on your credit card? Do you ask your parents for the money?
Yes.
Or do you save in advance?
May I add something?
Yes.
As someone who has been like living on her own for a bit, I did not realize how expensive trash cans and rugs are. I mean, they're like the most basic thing ever, and yet they're so expensive.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
But those are needs, right?
Those are things.
And maybe the rug might have been a little splurge, but you need that. So how did you go about? Let me ask you, since you've done this, did you put it on a credit card? Did you ask your parents to pay for it, or did you save in advance for it?
I tend to put a lot of things on my credit card, and I like to build credit, but I do have to remember that it's not free money and that eventually I'm going to have to pay it off. So I always try to make sure that I remember that in my checking account, I have that amount of money that my credit card will pay off.
That's really good. So let me give you another hint. I know personally that you did also save in advance for your college expenses and things like that, just as you guys are also saving. But let's go back to that $2,000 example. If you saved $150 a month, you know, let's just say it's for something that you guys want to do next year. You save $150 a month. Over 12 months, that equals $1,800. You're just about there. And $150 a month is barely $35 a week that you're saving towards your goal. So the idea is, if you can plan ahead, it's amazing what you can accomplish. So let's talk a little bit about how you accomplish things, because you don't need everything right now. Like if you want that fancy rug or that fancy car, and if you save for it and build wealth, then you can accomplish things. Let's talk about savings accounts, right? You guys all have heard of savings accounts.
Yes.
You may have some. Savings accounts pay interest. They're at a bank. Now, interest means your money makes money, and that money makes more money. So that means compounding. So if you have $100 and it earns 1%, okay, it's going to earn $1. And then that $101 earns 1%. So then it earns $1 and a penny. So, and it just keeps compounding. And that's what compound interest is. And basically, if you have $100 in your savings account and it's earning 1% interest, that means it's earning $1. And then that $101 then earns interest, and maybe it's earning $1.01. And that's how compound interest works. So the earlier you start saving, the less you have to stress later, because the more money your money is going to be earning. So $50 saved once, that's nice. $50 saved every month, that's powerful. $50 invested early is life-changing. So let's talk about this. You guys work, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you earn money through a job where you're paying taxes on that money, you can open up something called a Roth IRA. And what a Roth IRA is, basically, it's a savings plan for your future self. So if you start saving now and you save whatever it is that you earn, by the time you're 40, that money is going to compound and grow and keep growing. And you think you're 16 years old now. 40 is a long time away. That's 25 years of growth. That money will be worth maybe $500,000 just by starting early, starting now. And let's take it a little bit further. When you get a job, some companies offer 401ks, okay? And 401ks are great because a lot of the companies offer something called a match, which means that if you save for your 401k, you save for your retirement, they're going to match how much money you save. And that's free money, which is amazing. So if your employer matches whatever you're saving and you don't save for retirement, you're giving away that money.
How exactly does that work?
Okay. So basically, let's say you work for a company, ABC Company.
Okay.
And ABC Company has the ABC 401k. So a 401k is a retirement plan that you're allowed to save a percentage of your salary. Okay. And ABC Company says, hey, if you save 10% of your salary, we'll match dollar for dollar what you save up to $10,000.
What does it exactly mean when they say match?
Means like if you put in $1, they're going to put in $1 into your 401k.
Okay.
And by saving, does that mean taking out
of your paycheck
and
and
giving
putting
it
it-
back to the company?
No.
Or where does that money go?
into your future use retirement plan?
So then how does the company just has extra funds that they match you with?
Yeah, so the company has, because the company gets a tax write-off and a
I
deduction.
see.
So it behooves them to do that for you. And you also get a deduction for saving that money
So
out
it
of your
helps
salary.
both.
It
sides.
does.
Okay.
And when you retire, you'll have that money growing for you all those years that you've been working. So you hear people working at a company for 30 years and their retirement plans gets compounded, not only through the growth of the stock market, but also because the company has contributed to that as well.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, you guys are good. But don't overthink it. You know, you just put in the money and it grows and it's there, and you'll get a statement from the company's investment company that handles it for you.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
By putting in the money, how exactly do you put in the money? Is it with your bank?
How
How
do you-
exactly?
That's a
You do
great
that.
question.
So you're
So
talking about a Roth IRA?
Just in general, like
So there's
invest in
two
the
different
stock
things. So
market, Roth
the-
IRA, all of it.
the 401k is done through the company, through your paycheck, through your payroll. So if you work full time, you become eligible for their 401k. And what happens is your paycheck will get deducted. Let's say $50 a paycheck goes into the 401k. So every paycheck that goes in, and then your company is matching the $50 you put in there. And once you put the money in, you have elections. Well, I'm going to put my money in a mutual fund, an index fund. That's what's offered by this mutual fund, by the investment company that's managing it, and that's what you decide to do. And then your company that you work for is matching in the same investment, and then it grows. And they say that as long as you stay with a company a certain amount of years, you're entitled to everything your company puts in, and you of course are entitled to whatever you put in. Sometimes they have restrictions, but you'll figure that out once you get a job, and
Like
it'll be
it's
really
different
clear.
for every company.
It is different from every company. Some companies don't offer them at all. It's like smaller companies or mom and pop companies. But the Roth IRA, to your point, Lexi, that money comes out of your after tax money. So when you get your paycheck and you put it in your bank, your whatever you've earned for the year. So let's say you've worked all year long and you've earned, making up a number, $3,000. That $3,000 that you've earned, you can now turn around and fund a Roth IRA with that. You can fund, I think it's up to $6,000 or $7,000 now with your money that you've earned. And what happens is, if you start putting that money away at 16, that $3,000 grows. And then next year you put in more and it keeps growing. And the cool thing is, with you, Lexi, too, at 21, after having a Roth IRA for 5 years, if you were to go out and buy a home, your first home, you're allowed to take whatever money you've put into that Roth IRA out, tax-free,
Okay.
penalty-free, to purchase that first home to put down as a deposit.
When you like start a Roth IRA, you can only have one, right? And when you like take the money out, like can you make a new one once you're done with the old one?
Well, the Roth IRA is an IRA, which an IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. So when you're
Okay.
saving in that IRA, you're saving for future you retiring. Okay? You can use that money, that Roth IRA, think of it like a little house. It's like a little shelter. Okay? And inside of that shelter, you're putting in your money for your future. But in that shelter, you're allowed to take that money out for certain things, for a first-time home purchase, a certain portion of it. But the rest of your money is still in there, still growing for future you when you're going to need it.
Okay, because I didn't realize, like, I thought once you start a Roth IRA, like, you can't take anything out of it until you, like, get to a certain age, and once you take out of it, like, you can't, like, I thought it was kind of like a one-time thing.
So that's not. So what happens is, think of it like a house. So you can take out of it for certain, there's like for higher education, for medical expenses, for first-time home purchase. And there may be new rules and laws because they change all the time that you can take the money out for. The thing is, the rest of the money is working towards future you. Now, in a regular IRA, not the Roth, you must start taking that money out once you're 59 and a half and the government taxes you on it. Not so with a Roth IRA.
What's the difference? So, like, is that the difference between a Roth IRA and an IRA?
Yeah, so the Roth IRA, that grows and you never have to take the money out if you don't want to. And when you do take that money out, you don't pay any tax on it. So let's say you bought a hot stock, I don't know, NVIDIA, right? Yeah. And let's say you bought this 10 years ago when you started investing, and now you had put in 10,000 and now it's worth $1 million, right? Yeah. And you're like, you know what? Because you got to be 59 and a half to start living off the money that you've saved in the retirement.
In just the regular IRA.
In the Roth, or the Roth IRA. You have to be, to start taking out what it's grown, you have to be 59 and a half years old. Okay. So, but if you do decide to take that out, let's say you take out the full $1 million, you don't have to pay Uncle Sam, the IRS, nothing. That's free and clear to you. Because
but if you just had a regular IRA account,
you would have to pay tax on it. Yeah, he has his hand out. My share. So does that make sense a little bit?
Yes, that does. That makes a lot more sense.
So that's good. So a Roth IRA, in summary, is an investment account where your money grows and you don't pay taxes on it later. A traditional IRA, your money grows in this IRA, but when you pull it out, you do pay taxes.
So I also have another question.
Yeah.
You can have both of those, but you can only have one of each.
Well, there's certain restrictions on, and no, you don't have to have just one of each. You can have them at different firms, but you're only allowed to contribute.
No, but like you're only allowed to have like one Roth IRA account and one IRA account.
Well, no, you can have multiple, but you're only allowed to fund one of them.
Oh, okay. So you can own multiple, but you can only have like one active at one time.
Right. So, for example, as you work, I think the limit on a Roth IRA is $6,000 or $7,000 for the year to put into it for the year. So you can't put $7,000 into this Roth IRA and $7,000 in that Roth IRA and then do your you can't do that. But you can have a Roth IRA and a 401k. And now they even have Roth 401ks. So this is a whole new thing that I'm not hip on, but it's kind of cool. So as you go through this, just know Roth means you don't pay tax later. And that's really important. So if you invest, this is a great example. When you're young, your taxes are probably lower than they'll ever be. That's why the Roth is so powerful when you're in your 20s, okay? So if you invest $200 a month, let's say at 22, versus starting at 32, the 22-year-old wins by hundreds of thousands of dollars because they have time on their side, long-term investing. So starting early matters much more than starting big. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk.
Because that money like develops interest. It's like when she's like, as it gets older, it gets better. Some of them.
Well, they all do because time is on your side. When you invest in a company, companies are in business to make money over time, so they're going to grow. You're young, you're earning money, you're going to keep adding to this and adding to this. So the younger you start, even if it's with $200, by the time you're older, that money is going to keep growing and growing and growing. And so when you need that money, when you're ready to settle down and start a life and you meet the guy of your dreams and you want to buy your first house, you can be like, hey, honey, not only am I good looking, but I'm smart too, because I started saving when I was 16 years old and I can help put a down payment down on our house. You know, and it gives you financial freedom. Having an idea of where your money is and what it's doing, having that awareness gives you that ability that if you're in a bad job, you know you've saved money.
It gives you like a peace of mind too.
Yes, exactly.
So can I ask you a technical question
sure.
that a lot of my friends, especially who want to get involved, have this specific question? When everyone's like, oh, you should invest, get involved in the stock market and everything, my friends are always like, how do I do that? Is there an app that I do that? Do I do that
you
through
just
my
buy
bank?
a stock,
You know, you say invest. How exactly, technically wise, do you do that?
That's a great question.
Or how would you start like the IRS or stuff like that? Is that through like a company?
So yeah, so for starting out, so there's two different questions going on here. So let's start with a Roth IRA, because it's a great first investment and it's a great account to have. Wherever you have your local checking account at the bank, and I know you guys probably have high school checking accounts or college checking accounts, at your local bank they have an investment advisor there, and you can go in and you talk to the investment advisor and you say, hi, I'm working, I'd like to establish a Roth IRA. And then they should explain to you that, okay, great, we can establish the Roth IRA, and then you can invest money in this Roth IRA. And this would be
like going to your bank?
Yes, your bank. So there should be an investment professional there. And I mean, you can also do it online, but I think when you first start, it's nice to have someone hold your hand through doing it. And then once you open up the account and you make your deposit of $200, the idea behind investing in, let's say, an index fund. What an index fund is, it's a mutual fund or an investment that encompasses the stock market. Let's call it the S&P 500, right? You hear, oh, the market's up, the market's down. You're able to take your $200 and buy, it's called a mutual fund, or now they have ETFs, exchange traded funds, that mirror the performance of the S&P 500. And you don't need a lot of money to do that. So you put your $200 in the Roth IRA, and that's going to grow with the stock market. So maybe by the end of the year, your $200 is up 20%. So maybe it's worth $250. And kind of nice because you didn't do anything but deposit $200 and invest it. So that's kind of the way you get started on investing. You just open an account. It's best to start with a bank or someone you're comfortable with. If you have a family friend who's in investment, most people know someone who does investments, you can talk to them as well. A lot of the banks have online accounts where you can do it all yourself. You open up the account, you transfer the money from your checking account into the Roth IRA, and then you buy the investment that you want.
I have another question.
Sure.
For stocks, like when people talk about like buying stocks and stuff, and I've seen like that screen that's like, it's a black screen and it's either like a red upgoing thing or a green upgoing thing, or like that type of thing. Like, how does that work? How do you buy a stock?
Great question. Okay, so let's talk about that. So let's talk about the investing basics. Okay, so basically investing is putting your money into something that can grow over time instead of sitting still in your bedroom drawer, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Stocks is owning a tiny piece of a company. Let's call like Amazon. Okay, if you buy Amazon stock, you own a tiny piece of Amazon. An index fund, which I was just talking about, that's owning a little piece of many companies. So if you own all your money in one stock, or all your money in an index fund, which is many stocks,
It's kind of like
it's less risky, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a folder of all these different stocks?
Yes, exactly. That's a great way to put it. It is. It's like a folder of many stocks.
Or kind of like nail salon. Like, instead of one color, it's a bunch of different colors.
Okay, that's another way of looking at it too. I like it. So let's just talk about that. So the golden rule is long-term investing beats fast money. So you never want to try and find the hot dot or what's going to be next. Should I buy crypto or should I do J trading? How do I pick the stock I want to invest in?
Yeah.
So it's really not about picking the right stock. I tend to invest in stocks that I know, companies I do business with, companies that I'm comfortable with over time. But the most important things is consistency. If you're going to invest, it's great if you can invest a set amount of money every month, even if it's $50 a month. And you put that $50 into that index fund every month. And why? Why do we do that? Because if the stock market is really going up and you put in your $50 and you're buying at a high price, you're not buying so much of it, right? Because you only have $50. But let's say the market drops and now the next month you're putting in $50. Well, you're buying more of that index fund at a lower price because it's lower. And over time, you're averaging out your cost. And by doing that and you're staying consistent, you're going to have time on your side and you're going to make money. Okay, so that's the thing. And if your money doubled in 10 years, would you be okay with that?
100%.
Exactly, right? So let's talk a little bit about credit cards and student loans. Okay, no fear, just facts. Okay, how many of you think credit cards are evil?
They scare me, but I understand that there's probably some reason they're good.
They're not evil, but misuse can be really detrimental.
Or
to
like
your
not
credit.
understanding them.
Well, that's it. So I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts about credit cards. If you get a credit card, when you, especially in college, they come at you to apply.
Build your credit early.
You do. You build your credit. Pay your bill in full every month. Why should you do that? Because if you have a balance, the credit card company charges you
I learned
interest.
a lesson that way. I didn't really know with that. Like, I just thought, oh, I'll just pay a little bit here and there. The next thing you know, I see a $20 charge in my account. I was like, what is this for? You know,
It's
and I
called
realized
interest.
I have to pay it in full.
They charge you, some of them 20, 30%. I mean, it's ridiculous how much they'll charge you if you don't pay it off every month or you just pay a little bit. And not everybody realizes that. So whenever you get your credit card, pay in full monthly.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard people say use credit cards for bigger expenses, which that's why it confuses me because why, if you don't have the money now, like what, I guess, I don't know, that's what confuses me about it because
That's a great
you
question.
still need to pay it off at the end of the month, but who's to say you're going to have that money at the end of the month?
Well,
you know?
so the plan is this. So if you're going to buy something, if you're going to go shopping at Shein or to Macy's or wherever, and you're going to use your credit card, don't go buying the mink coat or the high end stuff with your credit card because you've got to pay it off at the end of the month. But let's say you are buying a vacation.
Or like a car.
Well, not a car and a
okay.
credit card,
That's
but
different.
let's do a vacation because cars are a lot more expensive. But let's do a vacation. So a vacation, you want to go away for spring break.
I'm going to Costa Rica and I used my credit card.
Great example. Okay. So this is a planned purchase. You know you're going away. You're putting it on your credit card. So now you have to set aside a budget that I'm going to pay this credit card off by X date. So if I paid, I'm going to make up a number, $1,000. And I'm going away in 6 months, I want to start to save or pay off my credit card $200 a month. And the reason why you're putting away $200 a month for 6 months, which is $1,200, not $1,000, because you're going to be paying interest on that money. So with that $1,000 that you paid for your trip, it's actually costing you more because you have to pay interest to the credit card company.
And because you're saying like, so when it's a bigger purchase like that, like you do make the smaller, like you don't pay in full, but that's
if you can pay in full, ideally.
Yeah.
But if you cannot, because it's such a big purchase.
Yeah, so people
don't pay the minimum payment. Don't pay, because sometimes they'll say, oh, you only have to pay $20.
And that's where I messed up.
So
you want to pay as much as you can.
So you're saying so you save this money over time and that money will gather interest because you're getting interest on the money that you haven't given back yet.
No, you don't have the money. That's why you put it on your credit card for the trip.
Yeah.
So you don't have the money yet.
So
because you're working and you know you're going to make the money. So I know I'm going away to Florida for in 6 months.
Mhm.
So for spring break. So I know the trip's $1,000, but I have to pay it now because otherwise, if I book it later, it's going to be higher. So I have my airfare and my hotel that I put on my credit card.
Yeah.
The good news is my credit card doesn't come due until next month. So we're in February now. My bill's not going to come due until March. So I have a whole month to save money. I'm working, right? So I'm going to save money from my paychecks. I'm going to try and save $50 a week out of my paycheck. And that's $200 for the month. So I'm going to put $200 towards that $1,000 as soon as my bill comes in, and I'm going to pay that down. And then if I have any extra money, maybe I'll throw a little more towards my bill.
Because you want to have.
I want to. I don't want to. I don't want to owe money.
So you put more money in than you paid for that trip because the interest will gather on that trip. And
yes, because the credit card company is going to charge me interest for borrowing money from
so
me.
it's not. So it's not going to be $1,000 when you do eventually pay off all the money. It might be like
it's borrowed money. So a credit card is not extra money.
Yeah.
A credit card is borrowed money.
Yeah.
And it's got a timer on it.
Yeah.
So if you're borrowing that money, you have a certain amount of time where you want to pay it off. Okay. So let's also talk about student loans. College. A lot of times we don't have enough money to pay for college, so we have to take out loans. And student loans, they can help, and they're real money. That you're getting a loan from the bank or the loan from the government. But you should only borrow what you truly need, because like credit cards, you have to pay it back, and you have to pay it back with interest. So if you,
I have another question.
Okay,
if you make the full payment on time, then is there any interest?
No, that's the beauty. That's why you always want to pay it off if you can at the end of the month. But loans are tools. So a good way to think about it is, if future you wouldn't thank you for borrowing that money, whether it's a credit card or a loan, then pause before you do it. Always think about your future self before you make that purchase, before you think about things. How is this going to affect future me if I buy this Lamborghini instead of the Toyota Corolla?
Yeah.
So and that's the thing. Now, loans are tools, but tools can hurt you if you don't understand them.
Yeah.
So before you borrow money from anywhere, figure out, how much is this going to cost me, really?
Yeah.
And these are great questions you guys are asking. Another great thing to think about is, okay, we started to talk about investing. I want to talk to you a little bit more about stuff. I want to have a little bit of fun with this. If you had $1,000 right now, what would you do with it?
Well, after this, I'd invest it. I'd use $80 to get my nails done. I'd invest the rest.
My honest answer, I'm going on a trip. I'm going somewhere.
Honestly, yeah. If I was able to, I'd probably put $800 away and then use $200 on
that's probably what I would do.
I love it. What scares you more, investing or being broke later?
Being broke later.
Yeah.
I think investing does scare me a little bit, but now that we're starting to have this conversation, I'm getting more comfortable.
So investing, you can invest and get money, but can you invest and lose money?
Great question. Remember my talk about risky, and we talked about investing in one company or investing in several companies through an index. So there are companies out there that don't always do the right thing, or maybe they're fraudulent, or something happens. And there have been many companies that have gone bankrupt and everything. And if you invested all your money in that one company, and that company went bankrupt,
do you lose that money?
Yes, you do. All of it.
And that's why it's a little bit scary. But again, I understand that over time, even if you lose money, you can still get that money back because companies bounce back.
Is there a way to tell before a company goes bankrupt? And if you don't know a company's going bankrupt, you can withdraw, but isn't that insider trading if you know?
Well, so yes and no and maybe. So in that order. So you can invest in a company, okay? And can you know whether or not they're teetering on bankruptcy? Well, you guys all watch the news, and Saks Fifth Avenue, right, is filing for chapter bankruptcy. So would you run out today and go buy Saks stock? No. Why? Because you kind of know. So there are ways of knowing what's going on there if you listen to the news.
But if you already invested in a company.
Okay, so it's important to buy what you know. That's back to my example. You know what I mean? If you buy what you know, then you have a better chance of not losing money.
Mm-hmm.
The other avenue and the things that you could talk about is index funds,
Mm-hmm.
right? Index funds are several companies. So the chances of all 500 companies in the S&P 500 going bankrupt,
Not
pretty
a
low.
lot, yeah.
You know what I mean? So um, these are habits or things that you can look at when you're investing. Whether or not, if you find out about a company, whether they're going, your question is that insider trading? If it's public knowledge,
Then
no.
no. Okay.
But if your buddy works for the company and you
he's-
heard that they're going to be doing something, then yes. So you have to, not trade on things that the public doesn't know.
Yeah.
So what would financial freedom look like to you? If you
Not looking at price tags when I go to things, not looking at the price,
that's
not having to look at the
I
price.
feel like financial freedom for me, I feel like would be pretty similar, but it would also be like not so much not looking at the price, but not knowing that if I look at the price, I don't have to worry about it too much.
Like I don't have to look at the price to decide if I can get it or not.
Now that I'm figuring out my future career, I think financial freedom is just being able to support myself. I don't need to be a millionaire, but I just want to have enough money to live on my own, not worry about paying rent paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, that's what I meant more.
That's so amazing. So here's what I want you guys to hear. You don't need to be perfect with money, okay? You need to be intentional. The girl who invests in her 20s doesn't just build wealth. She builds options. It gives you options to do things in life. One small move that you can make this month, what do you think it could be? Maybe you guys can commit right now and say, one thing I might do this month is
Start an investment account.
open a Roth IRA, maybe, or maybe track your spending for 30 days and see really where your money goes. Keep all those receipts, even if you pay with cash. Just keep it in a little envelope.
If you look at my debit card thing during the school week, it's literally $2 vending machine, $2 vending machine.
So you kind of know. Maybe start saving. Maybe start with $50.
Yeah. Maybe
right?
I'll stop going to the vending machine.
I'll put it in the shopping cart and I'll wait till the morning.
Yeah.
Invest in a vending machine company.
You know, you guys, your future self is watching and she's rooting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So make her proud and show her what you're made of.
Mm-hmm.
This has been such an exciting.
Wait, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
If you were in me, because you've already started calling, if you were in me Mikayla's position, what would you do to guarantee yourself the most? I don't want to see like the most riches, but like the most like wealth.
Start saving now.
Mm-hmm.
If you're working, every dollar.
But do you mean like save or invest?
I mean, you can start by saving money. You're going to take your whatever money you've earned from you have jobs, right?
Yeah.
Whatever money you earn, just like we talked about. Take 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for your savings. Right now, your needs are covered, right?
Yeah.
So take that 50% and that 20% you would save, 70% of your money should go towards future you into a savings account or a Roth IRA. Preferably a Roth IRA because that's money that's forcing you to save for future you. And that's going to grow tax-free. And you don't have to, and you will invest that money in the stock market because by the time you need that money, it'll be at least 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Think about how much that'll grow between now and then.
I also have another question. Wait, I kind of lost my train of thought now, but I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's okay. So, but if I were you, to make my future better, I would start investing now, saving in a Roth IRA.
So you have to be 18.
No.
I remember.
As soon as you start working, you can start investing.
My question was, are there, because I hear about like the college, like the student debt and stuff, and like you can't take the money out of the Roth IRA or an IRA account until you're almost like 60, 59 and a half. Are there stuff like the Roth IRA or like the IRA that can accumulate that much wealth?
The Roth IRA can help you. There are exceptions. Yes, you should.
Can you use it for student loans?
Yes, not for student loans, but to pay for college. student.
Can you pay for student
You
debt
can
with
pay for college with it.
Okay.
There are certain rules. If God forbid you become ill, you can pay for your medical expense.
Mhm.
There are certain exceptions to the rule where you can use that money for other expenses.
Mhm.
And there are other types of accounts you can save towards college as well, if you need to. But definitely save now, save early, and your future self will be so happy that you did. I'm
Mhm.
telling you guys. This has been a great conversation with these girls, and I close every episode with a poem from Scott. And this poem is all about people, and it goes like this: People mess up, make mistakes. And is that because they don't know their place? Everyone will only view you as the way you project yourself, the way I say you protect yourself. I used to be sensitive. I'd cry all the time. I couldn't even lie. But then I figured out how to stay alive, play on the other side. I covered myself in a shield of confidence so people didn't make me feel bottomless. People are more complicated than they seem, but you don't know if that person you see is really your friend or if they're just a dead end. To no contend. Everyone wants friends, those who will love them to no end. And you won't know if that person standing in front of you, saying they'd lift the world for you, really even loves you until they leave you because they found more people to hang around, leaving you askew in a hole that you can't climb out of because all your energy is in pursuit of why they dropped you instead of how this proves they don't deserve the true you.
Wow, that's really good.
Really
I like
powerful,
that.
right?
Oh yeah.
And listen, so money, okay, having all of that savings and that power and that awareness can help you get out of a relationship that
Yeah,
is
get out of a
sad.
situation that's like scary, that doesn't know, like you don't know what to do, whether it be like
doesn't
a
relate you.
relationship or like a homing situation or like
Exactly.
school situation, like not being able to pay for that, like or having to move or something.
You don't know what life's going to throw at you.
Yeah.
It's a journey, guys. So give yourself every avenue to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for being here. And thank you, my SOS family, for being here. Really appreciate you. And tune in next week on SOS Stories of Survivors, where survival sparks the soul. I'll see you then.